Hey guys, welcome back. Now open your books, page 58. Next page. We will watch video, if you know this page, and we will learn about Chinese culture. First, look at the photos. We are all familiar with the sign, made in China, right? As I said, we will talk about China. Now, think about it. What does China produce? What does China produce? Think about it for a second. The answer is very easy. China produces everything, like shoes, mobile phones, clothes, even cars. They produce everything. Second one, do you have any items produced in China? Have you any items which is produced in China? Think about it. I think your answer is yes. It must be yes, because as I said, nearly everything is produced in China. You're watching it on your laptop, maybe it's produced in China, or you're watching this video on your phone, it's produced in China. We don't know. In short, in Turkish, I don't want to switch to Turkish, let's continue in English. Second question, what language do Chinese people speak? Yes, English? No. Spanish? No. Of course they speak Chinese. And Mandarin, I think we will learn about it in the video. Now, after answering the questions, which were quite easy, I think, we will watch a video. Then after watching the video, we will talk about it. I will explain the video, but first just watch it and try to understand the video. I hope you will enjoy it.
The language of the future. China's population is exploding. About 1.4 billion people live there. That's more than twice the number of people living in Europe and the United States combined. Everything in China is growing. Many people predict that in 20 years, China will have the strongest economy in the world. The country already produces so many things. Like the clothes you're wearing, they're probably from China. And your mobile phone too. In China, people speak many different languages, but everyone can understand one written language, Mandarin. It uses characters, not an alphabet, and there are over 40,000 of them. But most people only use 3,000 or 4,000. Can you imagine using a computer keyboard with all those characters? Probably not. In the late 1950s, the Chinese developed a system called pinyin. It uses the Roman alphabet, like English, which has made it easier to type Chinese words, like these, into a computer. Mandarin is also the official spoken language of China. More people in the world speak Mandarin than speak English. About 3 times as many. And there are Chinese people who speak Mandarin all over the world. Every day, more and more people use Mandarin to communicate. So, in 10 or 20 years, will Mandarin become the #1 language in the world?
Now, I think the video was quite easy. Now I will explain, we will watch the video again, and this time I will explain the video if you didn't understand part of the video. Let's start watching again. I will stop the video sometimes to explain it.
The language of the future. China's population is exploding. About 1.4 billion people live there.
1.4 billion people live in China. Maybe at the moment it's more, because this video is from 2015 or 16. We are in 2020. Maybe 1.8, I'm not sure. But can you imagine 1.4 billion people live in China? That's a lot, right?
That's more than twice the number of people living in Europe and the United States.
That's twice the number, twice Europe and United States combined, birleşik. 2 katından daha fazla. Avrupa ve Amerika'nın birleşiminden 2 katından daha fazla bahsediyoruz.
It's combined. Everything in China is growing. Many people predict that in 20 years, China will have the strongest economy in the world.
Many people think that in 20 years, China will have the strongest economy. I think we know economy. I don't need to explain it in 20 years, but we don't know.
The country already produces so many things. Like the clothes you're wearing, they're probably from China. And your mobile phone too. In China, people speak many different.
As I said earlier before we watched the video, everything is produced in China, like your phone, your clothes, your car, your pencil, everything is produced in China at the moment. Now, let's talk about their language. Let's continue.
Languages. But everyone can understand one written language, Mandarin.
The written language is called Mandarin. Don't forget it. Written language is called Mandarin. It's quite interesting language, I think.
It uses characters, not an alphabet, and there are over 40,000.
It's not like our alphabet. They use characters, and in the Mandarin they use more than over 40,000 characters. 40,000 characters. That's a lot, right?
But most people only use 3,000 or 4,000.
And there are 40,000 characters, but people use only 3,000 or 4,000 of them.
Can you imagine using a computer keyboard with all those characters? Probably not. In the late 1950s, the Chinese developed a system called pinyin. It uses the Roman alphabet like ink.
In the 1950s, they developed a program called pinyin. With the help of this program, they use Roman alphabet like us. I mean, like in English, just normal alphabet.
English, which has made it easier to type Chinese words like these into a computer. Mandarin is also the official spoken language of China.
Yes, Mandarin is the official spoken language of China.
More people in the world speak Mandarin than speak English.
Of course, it's obvious that more people speak Mandarin than English. Why? Because only in China, how many people live in China? We said earlier, 1.4 billion people live in China. Which language do they speak? They speak Mandarin. It's normal that more people speak Mandarin than English. Because of their population.
About 3 times as many. And there are Chinese people who speak Mandarin all over the world. Every day, more and more people use Mandarin to communicate. So, in 10 or 20 years, will Mandarin become the #1 language in the world?
What do you think? In 10 or 20 years, will Mandarin become the #1 language in the world and keep English? I don't know, I don't think so. I mean, of course, their population will be higher and more people will speak Mandarin, but I think it can't become the #1 language in the world. It will be English, I think. But maybe in 100 years, we don't know. It can be Mandarin. But for in 10, 20 years, it's a short time. I think English will become the #1 language in the world. But what do you think? I hope you like the video. Now we will do exercise 3. Look at, watch the video again. What do you hear about these numbers? What did you hear about these numbers? We said 1.4 billion. Next one is 40,000. Third one is 1950s or in 10 or 20 years. Now, try to do it on your own. Think about it. Then I will give you some time, and I will continue. Now, 1.4 billion people live in China, right? Let's check. About 1.4 billion people live in China. Correct. You can write it if you didn't catch it. I will give you some time, or you can stop the video. Next one, 40,000. What was it? What was it about? 40,000. Do you remember Mandarin? I will give you some clue. Mandarin. Yes, I think you guessed right. 40,000 characters. There are about 4,000 characters in Mandarin, but people use only 3,000 or 4,000 characters. But they can use 40,000. I will give you some time. You can write it if you want. Let's continue, I think. Third one, 1950s. What happened in the 1950s? Think about it. 1950s. What happened there? In 1950s, they developed a system called pinyin, correct? In the late 1950s, Chinese developed a system called pinyin. With the help of pinyin, they could translate it into the Roman alphabet. Roman alphabet is like our alphabet or English. Wait, I will give you some time. You can write it. Now, last one. What will happen in 10 or 20 years? In 10 or 20 years, Mandarin may become the #1 language in the world. As I said, it may become, but we are not sure, right? It can or not, we don't know. I will close it. Exercise 4. Watch the video again, choose the correct answer. We watch the video. I will give you some time to do it, try to do it. Then I will start. Let's check. China's population is bigger than Europe's, United States, or C, Europe and United States together. China's population, what was population? Is bigger than Europe's? Of course, it's bigger than Europe's. United States? Yes, it is. China's population is bigger than Europe's, United States. Europe and United States together. Their population is bigger than Europe and United States together. Correct. The Chinese people speak different languages, Mandarin, English. Which language do they speak? Different languages. Of course, they can speak different languages, but their official language is Mandarin. Yes, even in Turkey, people speak Turkish, yes, it's our official language, but people can also use other languages, right? Don't do Mandarin. They can speak also different languages. Now, third one, in written Mandarin, people use 40,000 characters, 3,000 or 4,000 characters, or 4,000 characters. Let's remember, we know that Mandarin has got 40,000 characters, but what's the question? In written Mandarin, how many words people use? Not 40,000. Yes, we know they have got 40,000 characters, but do they use 40,000 characters? No. They use only 3,000 or 4,000 characters according to the video. Now, exercise 4. The pinyin system. What is the pinyin system? The Roman alphabet, Chinese characters, a computer. What is it? What is the pinyin? It's a system which turned the Mandarin characters into the Roman alphabet. Now, more people speak Mandarin in the world than English, or Roman in the world than English, or French in the world than English. I mean, this question is very easy. More people speak Mandarin in the world than English, of course. Not Roman. We didn't talk even about French. That's not true. More people use English than French. French used in some African in France or in other different countries. But of course, Mandarin, more people use Mandarin because of their population. I hope you can see it. You can check if you want to. Now I will continue with the next exercise. Now, test your memory. What did you see when you heard these phrases? Now I have to test my memory too, but I hope I can remember. Let's do it together. Everything is child is growing. This part was at the beginning of the video, as I remember. There are some traffic, some cars were passing by at the beginning. The country produces so many things. This part came while people were working. I think some women were working, producing something I don't remember exactly. Every day, more and more people use Mandarin to communicate. It was at the end of the video, I think. At the end of the video, about 2 minutes, or after 1:30, I'm not sure. Every day more people use Mandarin to communicate, but I'm not sure, as I said. That's it. It was just a good to memory, to revise, to remember. It was not important. Now, some discussion. It's your time. You can speak to yourself, or you can call your brother or sister if you have one, and speak to them, or just to yourself, like me at the moment. First question, what does your country produce? Does it go to many other countries? First question, what does our country produce? Turkey. Do we produce something? Yes, maybe clothes, right? We can produce clothes, maybe shoes, right? We can send them abroad. Does it go to many other countries? I think so. It goes to European countries, or we produce fruit, right? Fruit goes to European countries. If you go to Germany, you will some Turkish fruit, Turkish tomatoes in Turkey, in Germany. I'm sorry. Number 2. Would you like to learn Mandarin? Why not? Why would it be useful? Think about it. Would you like to learn Mandarin? First question. If you ask me, I think it's difficult to learn, and if I had the time, I would like to learn Mandarin, of course. Why not? We can need it in the future, maybe in 10 years, it will become very important. Why not? Some of you would say, no, I don't need to learn Mandarin. Why should I learn it, right? Yes. You're right, maybe you don't need it in the future, but I think we will need it. It's important to learn new things, new languages. Even for your job, if you say, write in your CV, I know Mandarin, it's a great point, I think. Why would it be useful to learn a new language like Mandarin? Why would it be useful? As I said, for your job, or if you go to China, you can communicate with other people. It's great advantage if you know their language. Last question. It's easier to answer for you. What is it? Is your language a difficult language to learn for foreign learners? Think about it. You will say, Turkish is not difficult for me. Yes, you're right, because Turkish is your native language. That's why it's not different for you. But think about foreign learners. Think someone like German who's learning Turkish. Is it difficult or easy? Think about it. Turkish is difficult to learn for foreign learners. Exactly. Turkish is one of the most difficult languages to learn. I mean, Chinese is difficult, Mandarin is difficult, yes, but also Turkish is difficult to learn. English is more easier. It's easier to learn than your native language. You can look at the questions if you want. After that, I will continue. Let's continue with next activity. We don't have much time. I have to be more faster. Now, work with a partner. You're alone. You will do it on your own. Look at the pictures and answer the question. Let's look at the pictures. The word of English. Let's look at the pictures. Here, Arabic, but stop, English, correct. Here, flight information, then some French. I can't speak French, I'm sorry. Flight of English, correct. Here, Mandarin or Japanese, we don't know, I'm not sure. Here, nation stadium, spectators, entrance, it's also in English. As you see, they use their own language, also they use English too. English is everywhere. And if you go to European country, you will see English. Not also French, also English. If you go to China, you will see also English. Here, like this one. English is everywhere. But what was the question? Where would you see the image? The stop sign is in every country, as I said earlier. The flight information sign is in French. Speaking country, I think it's in French. And the entrance sign is in China. Yes, I guess right. Why do you think they are in English? Why do you think they are in English? Think about it. Why are the signs in English? Because English, if you go to China, can you speak Chinese, Mandarin? No, you can't speak. But which language do most people use to communicate? You guess right? They use English to communicate. That's why it's written in English. If I go to an Arab-speaking country, I don't know what this means, but I know the stop, but I know what stop means, right? Or if I go to France, I can't speak French, I don't understand French, right? But I know flight information. Okay, great. Or if I go to China, can you speak Mandarin? No, you can't speak Mandarin. I can speak too. I can't speak it, but I know nation stadium or spectator entrance. I know, because I can speak English. You too. Now what's the answer of the question? So that everyone can understand. Yes, they wrote it in English because if you go to a different country that everyone can speak English, we can understand that. Now, the word of English. It's on page 59, I think. Let's do it. This one. the word of English. I will read it and you can read it too on your own. Just almost everywhere you go in the world you will see English. It's on signs, adverts and t-shirts. In the online world it's even more obvious. Why? Because it is the one language that most people understand. More than Mandarin or Spanish, which have more native speakers than English. So, how many people speak English? Right now there are over 360 million native speakers of English in the world. And a similar number of people speak it as a second language. But there are more than 1 billion people speak or are learning English, and the figure is going up. It's going up. In countries like Denmark, Singapore or Israel, more than 80% of people speak English. So if you go there, you will find it easy to get by. There are also more words in English than in almost any other language. At the moment, there are over 1 million words in English, and we keep on adding more words. You might know words like selfie, yes, we know selfie, like here, selfie, tweet, tweet, app, you know, application for mobile phone, like different apps, chillax, I think most of you don't know chillax means relax, to relax, right? Young people use this word. All of these words have come into use in English language in the last few years. These words are new because of the technology like tweet, and these are technologic words. And what about the future? Will English always be the world's #1 language? For the moment, yes. At the moment, it's English. But if the Chinese economy continues to grow, will Mandarin turn into the next #1 world language? We will have to wait and see. Fact. Soon there will be more people in English in China who speaks English as a foreign language than there are native English speakers in the whole world. That's the part. Please read it on your own, then we will answer the questions. Now, I will explain it in Turkish, then we will continue, it's easier. At this part, if you go everywhere, you will see English on your t-shirt, signs, or AdWords. AdWords means, I will say in Turkish, reklam. In online world, in technology world, if you go online, on internet, you will see more English words than usual. Because it's the one language that most people understand. Use it as a bridge. You can see English as a bridge to communicate with other people from other countries. And English, for example, Mandarin or Spanish has got more native speakers than English, but a lot of people use English. That's why it's more popular than Mandarin or English. So, how many people speak English? 360 million native speakers of English, 360 native, it's their mother tongue, right? And a similar number, like the same number, speak English as a second language. But there are more than 1 billion people who speaks, 1 billion people speaks or learns English as a second language. And the number is rising. Like in countries like Denmark, Singapore, Israel, 80% people speak. If you go to Denmark, Singapore, Israel, people can speak English.